Hello, everyone. So I am Linda Burton-Williams, and this is the Red Carpet series that I have with Virginia Wright Johnson of Social Media Scion, and we're doing a bunch of webinars to help you elevate yourself and your business. So we started in April, I believe. We had May, June, and this is July already, so it's July 8th, Improve with Improv. July 22nd, Virginia's going to be up with Savvy Social Media Management Tools. So we're both out there to have you have the best life possible, understanding who you are, and then your presentation online be as magnificent as you are. So everybody understands that who you are is on your website, is in your social media, and that's who you are. And I'm helping you develop who you are and how you want to stand out with distinction. So I am your personal power strategist, and it is my job to help you discover and develop your core confidence that you can go out there and do whatever you want to do, even if rejection is a part of that. And I know there's some actors listening, and rejection is a part of that, and job interviews, putting your resumes in and people aren't getting back to you. So rejection is a part of life. So if you have that core confidence that understands that that has nothing to do with who you truly are, and people that are in traffic and giving you that lovely gesture that you're not doing something right, well, they're the one that's having the bad day. You make a mistake, you might have pulled in front of somebody, but it's still them that it really irritates. So I just wanted you to know a little bit about what I and Virginia do. So today, improve with improv. So improvisation, I will tell you what it is, what takes place within it, and how it can help you in your daily life, in your business, and of course actors need it very much also. So I always like to start out with a question. And the question I thought of today was, it's kind of silly, but does your life have a script? No, it doesn't. Does your life have a manual? No, it doesn't. So you're on your own all the time trying to figure out what the heck is going on and what's the best way you can go about problem solving or doing what you want to do in your life. And a lot of times it's our own self-sabotage that stops those thoughts. We could be talking to ourselves in a negative way. And also our brains are so full of information these days that we have our cell phone, our computer, our schedules, our job, other people are coming in, we have to eat, we have kids, we have parents. It's on and on and on and on. And how are we going to keep track of all that? Well, if we have all that going on and then somebody throws you a problem or throws you a ball, you can't catch it, just hit you in the face, and you're not prepared for it. So improv is really a problem-solving technique that you can let all this other down, catch the ball of the problem, and inspect it, and actually come up with some new, fresh ideas. So that's why improv is so wonderful. And it also changes the chemicals in your brain that you can calm down and that you're not just uptight and ready to pop any minute. I'd like to do the definition. I always do that too. Improvisation is a on-the-spot, off-the-cuff, spontaneous moment of sudden inventiveness that can just come to mind, body, and spirit as an inspiration. It can result in new thought patterns, new practices, new structures, and new symbols. Practice encourages behavior and creative behavior and learning to use intuition. Okay, so let's kind of dissect that a little bit. Spontaneous moment of sudden inventiveness. Doesn't that sound exciting? And that you can think off the cuff. Your body and your spirit, you're inspired. It can result in new thought patterns. You know, we develop patterns, and my last webinar was how the brain makes patterns and pathways. Well, this can make new pathways in a whole new area, and you can expand your brain, and your brain actually does grow. We found that out recently, that your brain will actually grow. You can get smarter. It's so cool. And so I'm welcoming Isabel. Hi. And
Hello.
hi, sweetie. And So creative behavior and learning to use intuition. And I'm going to talk about intuition later because intuition is a big thing with improv, okay? So, and let's say, why improv? Why is Linda talking about improv? To know and be known. No matter what you're doing, if you're an actor or you're in a business, you have to know other people and you have to be known. And you have to know yourself, don't you? So that's very important, to know and be known. To see and be seen. Being seen and heard are one of the most human nature things, desires that we have, to be heard and seen. And that it makes us feel that we're okay, that we're accounted for, that people care, that we have a purpose here on earth to be seen and heard. So improv actually helps you with that. To touch and be touched, and that's not like, I touch you, you know, to touch someone else and to be touched, you know, through your heart. To be present in the moment. I think it's so funny, any leadership book or any interview book or anything like that, it says, now be in the moment, be in the moment. And you're going like, well, how in the heck do I be in the moment? I don't understand. Well, improv, or I can teach you how to be in the moment, okay? There's ways and techniques to be in the moment. And it's not obvious to everybody. But that's what improv can do, is put you in the moment, to be present in the moment. And we learn through experience, and improv gives us that. So even as a child, they can tell you, well, soon you're going to crawl around the room. Look, watch what I do. And it doesn't matter. You might look at them and go, okay, that's great, but I don't know how to do that, because you have to experience it yourself. And then you see somebody walking, you go, oh, I might want to try that, but you have to experience it yourself. Your body has to learn how to navigate those muscles and learn it. So improv is about your body, your mind, your muscles having acknowledgement and experience. And then you're experiencing through the cell level, and it's inside of you. So it's very important. Today is going to be a lot of talking. It's me talking, okay? But when you're doing improv, it's an experience, and that's why it's so important. And in a supportive, safe environment, anyone can learn what they choose to learn. Most anyone can choose what they choose to learn, because you learn to learn, okay? And that's what improv is about, being open to that. Talent or lack of talent really has little to do with it. We learned about this in the last video I did, was that sometimes it's not always the smartest person, because they rely on that smartness, where the other person thinks they have to study, they have to learn, and they find it as a challenge to learn more, and they might scoot right above the other person that has that smarts. And the same way with talent. You can work at finding your talents and being open to them, and you might be the winner. It's win, 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 win. This is a really fun saying. Experiencing, like we talked about, is penetration into the environment, involvement with it. So as I was walking around the room in here to get ready for this, I was reading this, and a lot of times we'll be walking around and we don't even pay attention to our environment. At home, I know I won't even see a mess because I saw it there yesterday and the day before, and then if I walk in with new eyes, I'll go, oh my gosh, how did I make that mess? So that's what we're talking about. Penetration in the environment is actually being in the environment right now and seeing what's going on, being present in the moment, in the environment, experiencing it, okay? Now, intuition, I told you we'd get back to that. Intuition sometimes seems only to those special ones, and it's not available to all. But it is available to all, and improv can help you break through the blocks that you have to go into that intuitive state. So intuition, we're going to go into the definition of that, and I'll go into why intuition is so important with actors and with business people. Intuition is the ability to acquire knowledge without inference and or use of reason. I love that, because I don't want to be reasonable. I want to get my information freely, okay? So that's kind of what it is. It's available to us all. Inner contemplation Inner perception regarded a lucidity or understanding. It's an ingrained understanding that we have. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reason. So that's the way I can explain it the best for me is I'll be walking down a street in a town that I don't really know, and all of a sudden I'll get this weird little feeling, and I'll go, you know, I'm going to just turn around and confidently walk away from this street because this doesn't seem like a really great street for me to be on at this time of day or this time of night. And how do you describe that? And I know everybody on here has felt that intuitive knowledge. Safety, it has a lot to do with safety. And the last one is something that's like immediate danger. You know, your intuition can give you that fight or flight. So it's a warning one. But there's a lot of intuitive that's you can sometimes feel when somebody's in pain and they're not really saying it. They're not as clear. You might not know it at that moment, but you'll go, oh, you know, I think something was really bothering them. So your intuition, and like I said, a lot of times it's blocked by society, blocked by our beliefs and not being okay, and then we get tighter and tighter and tighter. So in improv, we learn to release those blocks and start trusting our intuition, and we'll go into trust because trust is really, really important in your life, in anything that you pursue. So we want to feel that trust and that confidence within us. So the reason that improv was even invented was even the Shakespeare days, you know, they had their scrolls with their lines on them, yes, and the directors were going, well, you sound like you're reading, or that's not really sounds like a real person. It doesn't sound like a real person. So they started making up these games, you know, to throw your script down and start pretending you're a falcon saying those words and you're soaring through the sky. And it gave them a different impression, and it got them out of their head. Okay, so we know about being in our head, don't we? And that's where we get lost a lot of times. So improv was getting an actor or a person out of their head so they can act intuitively and in a natural way. So improv was discovered through the acting process, but now it's gone into the business world quite wonderfully. And some, I will probably say this again later, some businesses actually require you to take an improv class or read about improv and really understand what that means. So, and we're going on with why improv. A lot of times people wait for a tragedy to examine their lives or say, is my life meaningful? Do I like who I am? That tragedy, it could be a crisis, a loss of a loved one, illness, or the natural catastrophes that are happening, and people are losing their houses with floods and fires and tsunamis and earthquakes and you name it, you know. It's quite devastating, and at the same time you come out of it knowing that what the most important part is you, your life, your connection with yourself, and how you relate to others. All the stuff, all the products we buy, all the looking good doesn't match finding who you are, trusting who you are, and the confidence of who you are to make it through something like that. So I really recommend studying yourself and learning how to be confident before something tragic happens. And in a tragedy, then maybe you can help more people because you're not devastated. So I even see it as that, in that mode of helping the earth, is understanding yourself will help everyone. I love this one too. It releases momentary genius. I'll be in my acting class or my non-acting class, and they'll be doing improv, and I just get so excited because everybody's showing genius that might not have shown an hour earlier, and I just get tickled because they come up with these great ideas. I go, what? I would never thought you would come up with that. I'm sorry, you're coming from your background or whatever. I'm going, what? So that momentary genius that you can nurture and make a pattern of, and then you can go out into the world and have a lot more fun and be a pleasure for other people and start seeing the genius in other people. So that's really great. Improv can help you see the genius in everyone. And function beyond a constructed intellectual plane. Your intellection will be, I'm sorry, something moved on my screen. So your intelligence will be freed. And so doesn't that sound like fun? You know, oh, I know this, and I know this, and you don't know that. So your intellect will be freed up, and it's just a really wonderful concept. And you can maybe laugh at yourself a little bit because you don't know everything. So this one is really the intuitive, living in the moment, agile, eager, ready, and alert. Wow, if we were that all day, and it didn't make us tired because we were so intuitive and we had our natural energy flowing, we could be agile, alert, and ready for anything. And that's what improv it really does. You find that you're more in tune with yourself, and then you're more available to understand and relate to your clients on a new level. You've opened up a whole new world. You've just expanded exponentially unlimited possibilities, unformulated, unpredictable outcomes, and you're being authentic. What could be better than that? I mean, improv is amazing in that. And actors that do improv, they can get out of their head and bring a script alive. I've had business people come in and look at their business a whole new way. A 5-year-old, a 6-year-old in a big body explaining what they do for a living is quite amazing. It puts a different perspective on what you do. In fact, that's a good assignment. What do you do? Explain it to someone in a 6th grade language. 6th grade's pretty smart. You'll be surprised. So all of this is inspiring. So let's talk about inspiration. It's a Latin meaning word to breathe into. Be in the moment and breathe into the moment. Living in the moment, changing the world around us refers to an unconscious burst of creativity. Okay, so we're getting out of our head again. So we're going to talk about trust a little bit more, but doubt, if you look it up in the dictionary, doubt is totally the opposite of trust. So if you doubt yourself, you could say, what am I not trusting? Am I not trusting my decision making? I have a little doubt about that. You're right. I am not trusting this because we live in the unknown. That's what improv is about. You do need to make decisions and you need to trust your decision making. But the more you know about yourself and the more intuitive you are, the better your decisions are going to be. So let's talk about the brain again. So this is a neuroscientist reveals how to think differently, okay? And he writes, the most accessible way to us is to break up our routine. So what is improv? Breaking up our routine. And at the end of this, I'll tell you how you can break up your routine a little better, or some exercises that you can do all by yourself. You don't have to be in the improv group, okay? And so this is his quote, only when the brain is confronted with stimuli that it has not encountered before does it start to recognize its own perception. The surest way to provoke the imagination, then, is to seek out environments that you have no experience with. Oh my gosh. A Nobel Prize winner chemist also notes that he discovered something while he was driving his car. He didn't do it while he was in the lab thinking, and he found it when he let go of that. And I don't know for you, but my mom even used to say she'd go to sleep with she was a seamstress, a sewing problem. And then she'd go to sleep and wake up with the answer. And I know I've done that a lot, and it's letting go of the tightness of, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this. And when you let go, you know, there's room for growth. There's room for the springing forward of a perfect idea that will solve that problem. And that's what improv can give you also. So that's really wonderful to know. The brain understands that you get caught up in your patterns and your ways, and you can't see a way out. So you need to learn to recognize that, let go, meditation, going for walks and exercise. I know Casey exercises a lot, and that helps the brain. It helps you let go of all those crazy people that you have to deal with all the time. And I'm sure all of you out there are the same way. What matters is that we find a way to recharge ourselves and renew ourselves. Improv is easy and a direct way to shake it up. Experiencing questioning your concepts, your perceptions, your ideas, and your fears that keep us stuck. And then when we're unstuck, we have fresh new ideas, images, symbols, and actions that we can take. And it's a very holistic, life-enhancing way to live. And I do live in that way as much as I can. I really do. So worry and tension, those are allowing the mind to focus on other problems. Isn't that? It's allowing the mind. So in that definition, it means that you have some control over your mind. Did you know that? Yeah, your mind doesn't control you. And here are some things that you're going to gain from improv. And I have quite a bit of them. I'll try to go through them in a nice, quick fashion. Thinking on your feet. And off the cuff, that was in the definition, wasn't it? And learning to trust ourselves in the unknown. Remember, we live in the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen next, do we? So trusting ourselves to live in the unknown means we don't have to worry about tomorrow. We can think about it and do some things, but we don't have to worry about it. I try to live for today. Get ready today, what I need to get today, and then after this is done and I do my other things tomorrow, I can look and go, okay, I'll be ready for that too. I have to trust myself that I can do all the things I want to do. Not falling into the same potholes of your patterns. Not doing the same thing over and over and over and realizing that you're doing it over and then interrupt that. Okay, so new, fresh ideas. Looking at things differently all the time will keep you in improv. Seeing things with the new eyes of yes, and that is so great. Not yes, but the problem is yes, but that doesn't work for me. We'll go into that in more depth. Connecting with the mind and body as they work as one. And we talked about that earlier. So as you experience things, you're experiencing on a cellular level. Connecting the mind and the body all together, and they work as one. They're not the talking head like this, and you have no idea what the bottom is doing. So you want to connect all the way through. And then you really listen. You listen. I tell my actors to take active listening. I don't understand what you're going to say. Even if it's a script you've heard a million times, you have to actively listen and decide that you've never heard that before. So in a conversation in real life, you have never heard that before. So active listening and not worrying about what you're thinking about. Really listen to the other person. And to get your information, it's all unknown and new, so you can listen with great curiosity what the next person's going to say. And work impulsively, not self-consciously. So self-consciously is always, oh, did I do that right? Oh, my hair's not looking right. I think I'm moving my head wrong. Oh, no, they can see my wrinkles. So impulsively means I'm not going to worry about that stuff. Lose inhibitions. Make a fool out of yourself. Today I was at a morning meeting, and my jacket got caught on my skirt. And so when I got up, my skirt was pulled up over my head, and my jacket was caught up. And I was like this. Okay. And I just gently unhooked it, and my mind went, oh, boy, this could be really embarrassing. And I went, oh, whoops, I don't want my skirt up like that. And I put it down, and I just went on. It was quite funny, and I could make a fool out of myself, and I don't care anymore. But I wasn't always that way. So lose your inhibitions. And I want to help the whole of it all. The where. So this is creating in the wholeness of it is the where are you, who are you, and why you're there. So you take that personally. Where are you? I'm sitting here. Who am I? I'm Linda. I'm at a webinar. I'm speaking to you and really wanting to educate you on something that might help you in your life. So that helps you to know what you're doing. Problem solving becomes fun, a challenge, not an obstacle. Improv is about where you are, who you are, what you're doing, and then they throw you a problem, and you have to figure out the problem with the partner. So it's very great in problem solving or doing the mind mapping or something like that. Gives you a chance to lighten up on yourself and others. Okay, we don't want to be judgmental. Find the humor in a situation and give up being humiliated. I told someone the other day, you can't be humiliated unless you believe you can be humiliated. If your dress flew up over your head and everything was showing, you could go, I'll never be seen again. I'll never go out there again. Anyway, so humiliation, making a fool of yourself depends on you. It's not the other people. Grounded and in tune. We want to be grounded. Ready for anything that comes our way. Your brain gets to open new synapses and creates new neuron pathways, and I talked about that earlier. You're smarter, more apt to share what you know. If you believe you're smarter, you can trust yourself when you say, oh, this is how I learned it. How did you learn it? I never thought of it that way. That is so great. You can trust yourself that you're smart and share with others. And when meeting clients or people for the first time, you aren't so afraid of what they might think of you. You know, you have 3 to 7 seconds, they say, for people to get their first impression of you. So you want that to be something that's powerful, positive, powerful, and confident. You want them to see you that way, not a-hole or too high and mighty, okay? So you learn to share yourself in a safe place, and then you might go into a more stressful encounter. And you can even practice with yourself about standing in your confidence, finding the genius within, seeing how everyone comes from a different mind and allowing that and not judging. Even walking down the street, think of improv. That person is improving their life. That person is improving their life. I wonder what they're thinking. I go into Fred Meyer or a store sometimes and I see the hustle bustle and I imagine everybody have their big balloon, their thinking balloon up there. Oh my gosh, the thoughts that are in that store. Everybody has their own story, and their story upon a story upon a story, and they see you and they make a story up about you, about their story. It's on and on and on, and just walking through there and just like wading through the thoughts is just quite crazy. It's improvisation, I say. I'm improving my life, seeing all of the bubbles. Some are stressed, some are sharing, some don't see you, some see you. It's just fascinating. Try it sometime. And when excitement comes from the unknown. As a 5-year-old, 3-year-old, your curiosity, you want to know what's coming. Oh my God, what's coming? Maybe balloons, I see. So you want to know, you're just excited about what's coming next. You can do that in your adult life. I wonder who I'm going to meet today. I might meet that person that changes my life today. I might change somebody else's life today. It's just a great way to go out there. And freedom to be who you are. Don't we all want that? I mean, my gosh. I know I did. See, the more we go, I get more animated. I'll be jumping out of my chair soon. No. And then confidence in your presence, inside and out. Being confident who you are inside and out. Even if you're having a bad day, being confident that that's okay. Okay. With all the business and sale promotion and improv in common, this may surprise you. Okay, what does business and improv have to do with each other? Why are they alike? Okay, both take guts. Okay, acting takes guts. Being a business person takes guts. Making those calls take guts. Getting up in front of networking people, it takes guts. There are more. Finding out that there's more than one way to solve a problem. In business, if you have an open mindset, there will be more than one way to solve a problem. In improv, there's more than one way to solve a problem. Seeking the answers can be fun and creative. Improv is like that. You can take that into your business. I told you earlier, some businesses actually have a mandatory improv class that you must take before you can enter their employment, or a book that you could read. And here's a book that they have used for that. There's a lot of books out there, but this is the one. It's called Impro, I-M-P-R-O, Improvisation and the Theater. And this is a sales corporation that's doing this. It's by Keith Johnston. I have a bunch of other improv books here also. So sales and non-sales are developing along a similar path because scripts are now given away. You know, they used to have scripts. The gentleman that would sell you the vacuum cleaner, he would have a script. Hi, how are you today? Yes, I'm here to show you this wonderful product. And then if they asked a question, he wouldn't know what to say. So then they started writing a script for all the questions. They had a handbook, over 20 pages of questions and how to answer them. They had to study them and get the right answers. Now on a website you'll say frequently asked questions because that's something that happens all the time, but they put those up on the website. And at the same time, we need to work on our feet and project off the cuff. Okay, the other part of that is even when you're given away to the dynamic, complex, and unpredictable conditions that favor improvisation. So you want to have a dynamic, complex, and unpredictable conditions in the favor to do improv. It can be complex, but it's still simple because it came from that basis. Okay, so now we're going to get into the 3 things I really want you to get out of this seminar today, and we're right on time. Okay, good. Beneath it, you know, improv seems a little crazy and a little woo-woo sometimes, and underneath that there's a really light structure that works really well for business people, and we're going to get into that structure. And when you understand the structure, you can move others. When you're an actor or you're in your business, you want to move others into action. Actors want to move emotions and let the story evolve through them so that they can move the audience. It's the same with a business. If you are showing someone how their media could work for them, you want to move them and to understand that this is what they need to show who they are and what they want to serve people with and how that will work. You want to move them into action. Move them into buying your product or using your business because you really have worked hard to make it the best business you can and you are out for your clients, okay? Infectious possibility and brilliant framing. When all of those fail, these could help you out. So we did the listening. Number 1 is listening. We're going to hear offers instead of objectives or things that we have to work around or yes, but that's not what I think. I think this product will work for you because this. You know, you're hammering it into a wall where yes, and I heard what you were saying. I don't believe our product will do that. Let's do some research on that. It just opens it up. You're not butting your head. So listening for offers. And then number 2 is use the yes and. Yes, and we might be able to do this. Yes, and I can look that up and talk to my manager about that. That sounds very good to me. Let's try that. Not yes, but. Yes, but. It just stops the energy. You can tell it's the energy flow. It just stops it. And the other 3rd one that we're going to work on is making your partner look good. In improv, the more you can solve the problem and have your partner look good, it makes you look good. If you try to steal the improv because you're so smart and you're talented and you said something really funny, it comes across that way. It doesn't come across as you're working as a team, as a win-win situation. So you're working together, and we'll get into that old win-win thing in just a second. Excuse me. Now we're going to start the conversation up with listening, and I call it active listening. No one teaches us how to listen. We assume that it's a given talent because we've are given ears, right? We really don't know how to listen. In school, we are forced to listen, and then usually our mind starts wandering. You know, it might not be as interesting to us. They don't know how to help us listen by bringing material in every so often. They've done studies where before the 10-minute mark you need to kind of shake it up, shake them, because that's when people start drifting off, and then bring them back again with a catchphrase or something. So, or change the subject, or have them do something physical. So people don't know how to teach you how to listen. So you have to learn how to listen. Let's just start all over again. And no one teaches us how to do it. Listen sometimes without listening for anything. Just listen. It's almost like being an open vessel and allowing the other person to say, instead of going, I wonder, start protecting yourself and thinking about what you're going to say. Usually we are waiting for the other person to stop, so that we can say, oh my God, I did that too. Oh, but my story's better than yours. And I do it I hear everybody doing it, and then we split our attention because we're kind of listening, but we're really preparing our story about what we can come up with. And then it's worse to interrupt. I interrupt. I finish people's sentences. Yes, I'm guilty. Yes, I am guilty. So I do know I do that, and I'm really trying to stop it. I have bitten my tongue and just stood there and listened. Slow down and shut up. Okay, so if we just would slow down and shut up, we might be able to hear and focus on what the other person's saying. We might even learn something. Always having to speak can be a way to push away intimacy. Now, what that means is, have you ever met somebody that just keeps talking like I'm doing right now? Keeps talking and talking and talking. Well, a lot of times they're insecure. If they have to have the conversation going every second, they're insecure with themselves. They don't allow you to share in the conversation with the even give and take. And I have a couple friends like that. None of them are here. I just want to say that. But I found that she needs to talk, and I need to be there for her. And at the same time, I can only do that so much because I am not a part of the conversation, and I support her. But I do slow down and I listen. But I don't have the need all the time to speak. Listening with in an open, deep way that you feel vulnerable. A lot of people don't like that. Listening without some form of intimacy is shallow and passive rather than active and engaged. If you're not open and listening and with your heart and a little vulnerability, it might not be a safe conversation for you to be in. And I know some of you work out in the public. Well, we all are out in the public, and there's crazy people out there, and sometimes it's not okay to be vulnerable. But I'm talking about somebody that you really want to share what you're doing with. You let down your guard. You be vulnerable. I wanted to tell you a quick story about somebody that was interviewing me for the new publication that came out in the Boomers and Seniors. Well, when I talk with people, I want to have an open conversation and vulnerable and listen to what she needs, and I would speak. By the end of the conversation, the poor girl started crying. And I was so honored that she felt safe enough with me to tell me, some of the things that were going on in her life. And they wouldn't go any further than me. I didn't find it unprofessional. I just found that she found a safe place that she could share with me. And I had shared some intimate things with her. So we had that open kind of communication, and I respect her for that, and I believe she respects me. So there's a respecting that happens when you share that. Genuine listening leaves space for new lines of thinking. So just what you have a space, you have more space. Yes, but you're butting up against the wall, okay? We start to hear things that we never heard before, and we can learn. Many times, objections are actually offers in disguise. Well, they say, well, you know what? I can't afford this right now. I don't know when I'll be able to afford it. Oh, really? Okay, well, let's keep some options open. There's a webinar that I can turn you on for free that you can watch, and I'd love to stay in touch with you because it's so exciting to hear what you're doing in your life. So when somebody has an objection, don't close the door on them. That could be an opportunity to offer them another service that you might have, or somebody a referral. Oh, well, there's this group of people over here that is free to go talk to, so why don't you go do that? they will remember you as a good person and a referral. Listen anew and respond anew from new angles. I think it was a movie that I watched with my son in Salt Lake City with that big balloon kind of guy. And he goes, look at everything in a new perspective, you know. So they turned upside down, and he figured out how to invent something. And it is quite wonderful. There's going to be some things that you can do with that. Accepting what is given. Yes, and. You know, that's the listening. Now we're going to move into yes, and. But accepting what is given to us. It's very simple. So number 2 is yes, and. We're moving right along into that. Not yes, but. Improv urges you to check your behavior on no. How many times do you say no in your real life? Okay. No. Oh, I would never. No, no. What are the possibilities of that? If you say no too much, you might be closing down a lot of sources that could be open. Because the next one is buoyancy, in particular quality of positivity. If you're buoyant, they've studied the brain, and people that can be buoyant and come out, have a good outlook, even though something tragic happens to them and they are buoyant, they're not going to fall into depression. They're not going to fall into suicidal. Maybe there won't be so much horrible things happening in the world if we could understand to be more buoyant. Things are going to happen to us, but improv will help you to be buoyant and understand that you can survive through that. It opens a space for unlimited possibilities. We've been talking about that. And it spirals upward toward the possibilities and not spiraling down. Okay, so there's that buoyancy and that openness, that kind of like a trampoline up, you know, and up and not going down. So, and yes, and isn't just a technique. It is something that you can use in your life. It's a way of living. So making your partner look good, this is number 3 before we get into the actions that you'll be able to take. Make your partner look good. Roger Fisher is actually a great guitarist from Heart, but Roger Fisher is also an influential scientist that came up with the author of Getting to Yes, and this is where the most influential book that's ever happened, and it's the win-win terminology. It used to be in sales that I win, you lose. You know, if you buy my product, you're a loser. That doesn't make any sense at all. If you buy my product, you're a winner with me. We are win-win. So that's what making the other partner look good. You know, if I do this and you do that, we're both going to win. I get to learn how to do my social media and have fun and meet a new friend and look good. It's a win-win situation. The aim of negotiation isn't to make the other guy a loser. It's the win-win concept. And habit number 4 in one of the best-selling books, Stephen Covey. I always want to say Covey. He's not around anymore. Neither one of these gentlemen are still alive. But the habits of highly effective people. Habit number 4 is think win-win. So those are very, very good. Okay, about negotiations. It enables clarity and capacity to develop solutions that nobody previously imagined. I always think of improv going really well with marketing, coming up with new things, new sayings, new ways to approach a product, to approach a problem with a product. So that enables clarity and the capacity to develop solutions. It is a problem-solving tool. Curiosity and questioning to find out more about your partner or your client. Being interested in what they're doing and being that open person. More of a dance than a wrestling match. Casey, you can understand this, you know, get in the wrestling match with someone. It's more of a dance that you're working together and you're yes and, not but. So, okay, good. So that winds up that knowledge of all of those. So I am going to give you some actions that you can do in your daily life to help improv yourself. Number 1, pretty easy and simple, but see with childlike eyes. Like even when you're shopping, go down the toy department and see what the new toys are. When you're walking, look at the trees and the branches and the rocks. I usually come home with a branch or a rock or something, and then my whole house is filled with them. Or look at your pet in a new way, or get out on the floor with your pet and be there. Just let them roll all over with you. You know, a child does all of that, and that really does help you let go, be in the moment. So number 2 is see an object as if you've never seen it before. So I'm thinking of a table. I've done this with a table and a chair before, but, well, what is this? You know what? See it as you've never seen it before and deconstruct it down to the very last screw. Just look at it. Oh, my God, this table is tucked in. I wonder how they did that. And then remind yourself that every part was made by different people, maybe in different parts of the world. It's like a child learning to understand what things are and how they work. It's really quite interesting. And to see all the people that put this table together. And what parts of the world did the glue come from, or where did the screws come from? And it might be called a table. Somebody had to make the paint and the screws and everything that was thought of. And then somebody invented it. My gosh, this one has legs that come in and out because they wanted a portable table. We just take everything for granted so much. It's really a curiosity of how in the heck this was made, okay? Another easy one is your electricity. You know, I plugged in my computer so it wouldn't go dead. Well, where in the heck does that electricity come from? Well, it comes from the wall. I had the kids do it. Well, you know, duh, it's right there. Well, where's the wall? Why does the wall have electricity in it, you know? Well, those big towers, well, where's the electricity from the big towers? Is it from fans? Is it from water? We just take everything for granted. And improv is looking at things anew and understanding that it can be fresh. Something that you take for granted and use it every day, don't use it. Okay, not the toothbrush. You can keep using your toothbrush, okay, but like a stapler or a mouse. No, you might want to use your mouse. I don't know, something that you use every day and don't use it and see how many times and how inconvenient it is not to use that. It kind of shakes up your routine and gets you out of that right side of your brain and into the right side of the brain. Sorry, I get those backwards because I get left and right mixed up. This one's really fun. Invent something new from something you complain about. Okay, my husband complains about the roads, how they're developed, or how the lawnmower, why did they make this part do this part and this part? And I don't see that as really accomplishing anything. Well, how would you invent it? Different. It's really a great mind game to get yourself out of the complaining and go, wow, well, somebody did that because of this, and then let me see if I can invent a new way. And, you know, it might make you $1 million. Okay? So if that electric toothbrush isn't working the way you want it, you might be able to invent a new one that everybody loves a little better. So that's a really fun one. And invent something totally new. This one we did in my non-actors acting class, and it's a great one. The next big thing. What is the next big thing? And there's going to be 3 rules, 3 distinctions for you to invent this next big thing. It just takes your mind away from all the daily tasks that you really have to do. Number 1, the next big thing has to be environmentally friendly. The next big thing has to help many. And number 3, it has to be accessible and affordable. So I saw something on Shark Tank the other night that was really quite wonderful. These girls had invented an inflatable light. It looks like a balloon. Well, it's see-through, but it has a little strip on it. And the sun will, it's the battery operated, and then this light comes in, and they're floatable. So in these horrible catastrophes, these portable lights can be blown up by hand, and then they can be placed. It's brilliant, and they don't cost that much. It's just a little chip. So they can be dropped off from an airplane in horrible places. So I think that would be accessible, affordable, and environmental friendly. The plastic obviously would have to be recycled. Okay, but it would help many. So that's a fun thing to think about. And who knows, you might be on Shark Tank next week with something that you invented. Okay, so we're going to wind this up. I have 10 minutes, and I can take any questions for a couple minutes everybody's mic is open, but I want to tell you what's going on with Virginia and I. Virginia made this great website for our Red Carpet Series, and the website is Red Carpet Series, SERIES .Jimdo, JIMDO. I thought it was Jimbo. See, I learned something because I listened. It was JIMDO.com. So Red Carpet Series .jimdo.com, and that's a place where all of our webinars are going to be stored, and you can go in and get them. I have Action to Authenticity, Core Confidence, Building a Mind Muscle, then Improv, and then I'll tell you what our next ones are going to be. So that's a great place to be able to contact Virginia. Her email's on there, and you can connect with her website from there also, and I recommend anybody wanting to learn more about how they can get out there as an actor, as a business person. You need to know how to tweet. You need to start a following. We started this back in April, I believe. I've got all these ones. So July 22nd, Virginia is coming up with savvy social media management tools. And so these are great ways that you can have one tool that will connect to some of your other, so you can blog once, or that you can tweet once and it'll go into the different places. August 5th, I will have another one called Voicing Your Victories. Okay, we're going to work with how you can actually toot your own horn, maybe, voice your victories. And then August 19th, Virginia has another one called The Power of Pinterest. I'm going to be looking at that because I know Pinterest can help a lot of us. And I know Isabel likes Pinterest. So I've made her do Twitter and Pinterest. Pick out the ones that she likes the best. So each one of our webinars helps move you closer to who you are, why you do what you want to do, and why you want other people to know what you do in the form that's best for you and of service to everyone. And each time you watch one of these, it will accumulate for $25 for a 2-day event that we're going to have in November. I believe that's the month we've chosen. That's going to put all this into experiential, and it's going to put it in product form. You are your product, and then Virginia's going to put you online, teach you how to put the best tweets out there, put interesting things out there about what you're doing, about what you're learning. People want to know what you're learning and how to learn and do things. So your content needs to be very informative for others, and then they'll listen to you. So again, that's redcarpetseries.jimdo.com. I'm Linda Burden-Williams, in focus, and a personal power strategist for you and being confident. So let's see. Isabel, are you there? Can I hear you?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Do you have any questions for me?
No, not right now.
Okay, good. Well, I will see you at a private lesson here in the next couple of days, okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, sweetie. And then,
Okay.
Casey, bye. Virginia, are you there? Are you alive? Are you there, Virginia?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sweetie. Well, and then there's some other people here I want to say goodbye to also that don't have their mics on. Thank you so much. Improve with Improv. It can change your life. I have non-actors acting class, an actors lab coming up. I have morning Mindful Mondays every Monday that you can learn, and Virginia's just waiting to hear from you. So take care and love you all. Okay, bye.